And we heard from Jake in the Impulsive podcast, he does not think that the KSI fight sells like a Tommy Fury rematch and a Floyd Mayweather fight. And I don't know that I can disagree with him right now. I don't, because they pulled some legitimately crazy numbers. And while I used to be on the train that Jake and KSI did similar numbers, I don't know that that's the case anymore.
KSI and Mams Taylor have apologized for their tone, the outlash, the way in which they went about things, but the apologies themselves don't make up for the words that were said to me. The attacks on my character, personally and professionally, saying that I am one way behind the scenes and one way on camera. I can promise you guys it's not the truth. I'm going to prove it to every one of you guys that supported me right now. So KSI made a video, or was a part of a video on Side Plus, and he addressed the situation, and by doing so showed me that not only is this apology that was tweeted at this almost exact same time Mams Taylor tweeted it, and I know exactly why, starting to ring hollow, but that he's not even trying to hide the fact that they're lying.
Wade is obviously allowed to have his opinion on anything. He can, it's a free society. You can say whatever you want, do whatever you want. That's cool. But I'm okay. I'm allowed to hate on it as well.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to.
He says, I'm allowed to have my opinion on anything, but he's allowed to hate on it as well. And I know he's misspeaking there, and he means he's allowed to have his own opinion. And he's right. I've never told KSI he can't have his own opinion on the things that I say or anybody else says, because why would I do that? Of course he can have his own opinion, just like I can have mine, but only one of us got upset about that, and it wasn't me.
The reason why I was like, he's two-faced is because behind...
You hear him again call me two-faced. So again, did the apology really mean anything if you continue to say things that aren't true? And maybe JJ just doesn't know that it's not true, but to call me two-faced again shows me that the things you apologize for weren't the words you said, it was how you said it.
Behind the scenes, he's there like, this tag team idea, brilliant, I love it. And then online, he's there like, not sure about this, don't think this is a good idea, da-da-da. I'm like, bro, one minute you're saying you like it to me in private, and publicly you're saying what the public want to hear. So
none of this is true. I can't believe JJ just flat out said that to the Sidemen. And by the way, the Sidemen themselves are getting this information from JJ, but I genuinely like those guys. Toby, Ethan, Josh, I like those guys. I've only met them a couple times, and to be honest, I liked JJ, and I still want to like JJ, but I don't know if he's confused or if he's just flat out lying here, but none of this has happened. What I said about tag team boxing on camera is the same thing that I said behind the scenes, and I can show you guys on screen now that I have the receipts to prove it. January 28th was my tweet about tag team boxing, where I said, and I think a quote tweet of Fred's, that I needed to see it, but on the surface of it, I didn't like it. Because as a combat sports commentator, I have seen things tried, like multiple man fights in MMA where guys get absolutely battered with their head turns and caved in. So of course, I was concerned when I heard tag team boxing, because this is already a niche in the sport of boxing that a lot of guys that don't box are coming into, are learning how to box. And then on top of that, on a couple of weeks' notice, are going to learn how to tag team box, guys with no experience. In fact, when the tweet went live, B. Dave said he didn't even know what the rule set was.
But how does a tag team boxing match actually run? What are the rules like?
Well, Mams hasn't completely explained everything to me, but I was down because I really want to fight Stromedy. And I think that me and Pineda joining forces would be sick. It'd be like a father and son boxing match,
How long does the rounds last, and how many rounds are there?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Well,
these were things I was concerned about. The rule set, the health and safety of the fighters. Were we going to take it seriously? Because if we didn't, someone's going to get hurt. I only have two ways of contact with KSI. One is when we see each other in person, and two is through Twitter DM, which we're going to get into in a second. But the last time that I DM'd KSI up to that point was October 14th. And also, in person, the last time I had spoken to KSI was January 14th, 2 weeks before rumors started to circulate about tag team boxing. And then the announcement was made on the 30th, and as soon as I saw it was real, I saw they were actually doing this, I sent a text to Mams Taylor. Hey, Mams, just wanted to let you know I'm recording a video on this tag team idea, I'm going to be honest with the people. Just my opinion, but I don't like it. And I go into why, but that's all. And then Mams Taylor says, you never mentioned that to me when we spoke about it, and maybe I could tell you more about it before you do that. I guess he meant to say, so you have the full picture. Mams Taylor and I never spoke about tag team boxing, and I never once told Mams Taylor it was a brilliant idea that I loved, which is why I said in my reply, we never spoke about it. We spoke about a pro tournament that you had planned. All I heard of this was rumor until today. I'd gladly hear more about it for sure. Just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Then he said, okay, we'll talk before you post so you get the full picture. So yes, I was open to hearing more about tag team boxing, and we did sit down and talk that night, and that was the very same night that I recorded the Breakdown podcast with Sensei and had these things to say about tag team boxing.
The reason you'd have to tag out is because imagine someone is faking like they're going to go tag, right? Like they step into that circle, they turn, boom, throw the right hand over, you know? You could get some like safety issues could be a real thing here. This is why this, like, again, I told everybody involved, I need to see this before I really make a judgment on it.
So no, I didn't hate tag team boxing. I didn't like the idea of it because of the health and safety involved with the fighters. I never said I loved the idea behind the scenes. I said that I wasn't quite sure about it, and it didn't make sense to me, and I needed to see it. And I know I'm taking the long way around here, but I just want to make sure you guys fully understand how wrong this is what they are saying. Again, this whole time, I had not spoken to KSI about it once. I'm in Philadelphia, and Mams Taylor hits me with the actual seeing of what tag team boxing looked like. I think it was February 13th. But he sent me some training footage that you guys have now seen live of Derek Chisora, Idris Virgo, and others training the tag team boxing. And once I watched it and saw how smooth and how it looked like it could be better protected, I said, wow, this looks smoother than I thought and can work with the right rules defined. Then I doubled down on the newfound understanding I had of that video after I saw it on the 13th with a public video on the 19th, once again proving the things I say in private, I absolutely say in public. All right, there's the tag. Referee steps in and they reset. Pretty smooth transition. I'm not mad at that at all. The guy's working here, working. Goes southpaw, boom, boom. And he goes into his corner, and a referee immediately steps in. So again, I assume, and there's another back slap tag. God dang it. If we're going to be pro wrestling, let's just at least follow that rule set. The variety that you get with Misfits is something I think is pretty dope. It isn't just one steady thing. There's a lot of different things you can latch onto and say, that's why I watch Misfits. That is why I watch influencer boxing. I'm not too mad at that. I just want to make sure it's done right. Where I complimented the idea of tag team boxing because now I had seen it and I was showing people how it could possibly operate if done safely. So KSI, you flat out lied here. And I can't believe you have because you had no reason to. JJ, you either lied or you're getting your information from people you may want to start to look a little closer at because I don't know what you're saying here, but it's flat out untrue.
And then online, he's there like, not sure about this. Don't think this is a good idea. I'm like, bro, one minute you're saying you like it to me in private, and publicly you're saying what the public want to hear. So with Wade, he just wants to constantly
be on everyone's good side, as a journalist would.
Side.
Yeah, he's got to play the game. That is his.
So, no, I don't just want to be on everyone's good side. I don't just say what the public wants to hear. JJ, you should know better than anyone that I don't do that. When the first time we met, I made sure on the record, right in front of you, when Alex Wasabi pulled out of that fight while I was in Clapham and I got all the news and I came to you and I already knew the right information. And to you, just like I had on Twitter when people attacked me for saying Alex Wasabi had a factual concussion and could not fight on 2 to 3 weeks notice and should not fight with a recent concussion on 2 to 3 weeks notice, I said the same thing to you in front of you in our interview.
I think Swarms is a better fighter than Alex Wasabi.
Really?
Yes, because at least he can get into the ring.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, what about Alex? Where's Alex?
Yeah,
couldn't even make it into the ring. So
listen, obviously Alex is got the concussion issues. We want to make sure that we
are
sensitive to that.
I mean, no.
It is what it is, right? We move on.
I mean, Jake Paul's clowning on him.
I did see that.
Jay
I
Paul's
wasn't.
clowning on Alex, even though that's his guy.
It's his
So
representative. I don't know what happened
I
there.
don't know.
Yeah,
Which
if
is-
he's got to play the game. That is his
He's
job
playing
role,
the-
and
yeah,
his whole thing
But
is
I
that.
guess obviously that's going to rub me the wrong way.
Of course, but the
Yeah,
public
you're-
don't have
yeah.
that full story. So they're seeing him put out this little clip, and then
Yeah,
they're seeing
yeah.
you bug out over this little clip, and
Yeah,
they're thinking,
yeah, and it looks-
this is a
You're bugging
massive
out.
overreaction.
I
on
did
your
bug
part.
out.
But even Toby is confused as to what it is that I do as a journalist. I don't play both sides. I am unbiased. And I'm not directing this at Toby, but it's just the wordage being used. There's a difference between playing both sides and saying what people want to hear and being unbiased to both sides to make sure that I don't lean one way or another. And that's what I do. Because there is no side to me. There is no KSI side. There is no Jake side. There is the Joe Rogan rule or the commentary rule, which is you see what you say, and that's exactly what I do. So, JJ, if I didn't speak to you online since October before February 22nd, and I didn't speak to you in person since January 14th, and in person, if we talked on Fight Week, there was only one opportunity to do that, and that was when our face-to-face was about to be set up, and I had no idea about tag team boxing at that moment. When was it that we talked about it in person? You can enlighten me, please. I'm really just disappointed I had to make this video, honestly, because I'm older than JJ is, not by a lot, but I looked up to the guy. I did. And I believed him when he spoke. And to a degree, I still kind of do. But when things got personal with me, if you guys hadn't been around, when he dropped all those messages on me, if you guys hadn't come to support me on Twitter, on YouTube, on Reddit, which I saw, they would have buried me. And I don't know if I would have gotten an apology from KSI or Mams.